I almost didn't join the Freedom Club. And I met this rock star loan broker, Tammy Saul, and she pulled me into the room and she's like, hey, join. And this is the journey and the evolution of who I am today, because I did join the Freedom Club that day.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mortgage Influencers, where we bring you professionals who share insight into the latest trends, tips, industry technology, and services to help you be a mortgage influencer in your mortgage business.
What's up?
I think I believe our webinar has started.
Yes, it has.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. I found out I'm Scott Schang, and this is our guest, David Zai. And do we have somebody else joining? Oh, we got Frank Garay joining us. This is awesome. Okay, cool. I thought I was going solo here, and I found out 5 minutes ago that I was driving this bus and hoping I wouldn't drive it off a cliff.
No way, not you, bro. You're a great driver. No worries.
I think between Frank and I, we got this covered. So so I'm Scott Schang. I'm been an originator over 20 years, founder of findmywayhome.com. And I am here with Frank Garay, of which you almost don't need to be introduced. And our special guest today is David Zai. And boy, I met David, maybe a couple of years ago at Carl White's Freedom Club. And and we were kind of talking, and you have a really interesting story that I kind of want you to share. But about a year and a half ago, you really started getting into video. And I think it's appropriate that we've kind of rebranded this conversation as Mortgage Influencers, because man, you almost can't go online without running into David Zai right now for recruiting or building referral partners or doing consumer direct. And you just have an awesome story. So welcome. And David, why don't you kind of introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got started, and what kind of led up to you being a influencing rock star right now.
Well, Scott, this story cannot start without the story about how we met. So I'll never forget, right? I was with Carl White's Freedom Club, and I almost didn't join. I almost didn't join the Freedom Club, and I met this rock star loan broker, Tammy Saul, and she pulled me into the room and she's like, "Hey, join." And this is the journey and the evolution of who I am today, because I did join the Freedom Club that day. And then just going to that Freedom Club event and meeting you and Josh for the first time, your business partner, and I'll never forget, the second time I met you guys, you were like, weren't you that guy that was the banker at the first event? And I was like, yeah, I was the banker, right? So one of the things that I've always done was, wherever I go and whatever I do, especially if I'm spending money on it, I'm going to soak in that information. I'm going to take everything in. I'm going to take a ton of notes, and I'm just going to learn, and I'm going to implement, because what's the worst that can happen, right? I fall flat on my face and I get a good laugh out of it. So, I saw you do a presentation at one of Carl White's, Freedom Club events. I think it was Clearwater, Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And you were just presenting on stage, and you were just talking about how video is the way to go. And then I started, doing a lot of self-education online. And I just said, look, I'm gonna put myself out there. This journey probably started about 8 or 9 years ago, when I was a loan officer at the bank inside a real estate office, and they had a video competition, and they were like, hey, let's see who can do the best videos, right? And at the end of this, you're going to win a video stabilizer. So me being the guy that I was, I said, hey, I want a team of really cool, hip real estate agents, and we're going to do some videos together. And going back and looking back at those videos, I really laugh at myself, because now when I see myself in front of a camera, like, I've got this ring light, I've got this director in front of me, I got all this other stuff that I never thought I would have, other than just the phone facing myself doing a selfie and saying, hey, this is David's eye, and here's some like really like cheesy, like, cartoon looking glasses that I put on or whatever. And yeah, I mean, that stuff is a thing of the past, but yeah, I mean, without like going to these events and then self-education on the video, man, my business wouldn't be where it is today.
So a little bit over a year ago, you partnered up with us, and we kind of helped make it easier for you to record videos. Kind of talk a little bit about how that started, what kind of videos you started telling, how you came up with your ideas, and what kind of reaction you got, and even how long it took, because you don't necessarily do this to start off to be an influencer, but you're doing it to try to start conversations. That's why we create content. We want to start conversations with other professionals, with referral partners, with people we want to work with, and with consumers, right? So kind of walk through a little bit on how you kind of got started, and then sort of fast forward, after you got through boot camp, and what that looked like, and kind of what kind of engagement you're getting today off of the content, and what kind of content are you doing today?
So yeah, when I signed up with you guys, I was literally begging you guys to let me in, right? I was like, hey guys, please let me in. Like I've got something that I can offer value on, and I'll definitely try this. And I'll never forget, the first time I got the box with the kit, the video recording in a kit, right? Where you get the iPad, you get the tripods, you get the ring lights and all this other stuff. In the beginning, it was just trial and error, right? The first video that we did was an introduction of myself. And, that was really easy already. I already knew who I was, like going into all of this, coming into the industry, 16 years ago to now, like I've evolved, and constantly I'm revising the story of who I am. So the first video was who I am, right? It was like, hey, I'm a huge Dodger fan. I believe in having teams. I believe in having smart people, and I believe in people that share the same core values. And then it was like, okay, now it's time to do the standard videos that everyone else does now, right? What's a VA loan? What's an FHA loan? What's a conventional loan? Just real general topics. And then it's kind of evolved now to today, right? I'm all about very specific topics, because of the opportunities that I get. I'm constantly, talking to people that are facing different challenges. When I'm out there self-educating on YouTube and Facebook and different articles that I read, I'm like, wow, that's a great video topic. So there's a practice that I do all the time, and that's just like, just taking some time out of the day and writing down like all my thoughts and everything. And this happens to be my coaster today, but I have a list of like topics that I'm going to talk about every day, that I want to put on video, because when I'm taking my notes throughout the day, so here's a low down payment jumbo 5% tips for VA loans, how to gross up, and things like that. So different topics that consumers face that they're challenged with every day. So I've really drilled down to the really minute details, and that's the premises of my video, versus how I started when it was just real general topics, wasn't generating a lot of engagement. Now these really specific topics are generating a lot of engagement, comments, and direct phone calls is what we want. I mean, ultimately, I want to help people that are told no.
What platform are you getting the most engagement on?
Find my way home. Find my way home.
Yeah.
Really, and YouTube, just consumers going out there and seeing like they have a specific scenario. For instance, I did a travel nurse video, right? And travel nurse, everyone looks at it differently. Same thing with longshoreman income. Same thing with bonus, K9 income. Everyone differently. And just like in a it's one person's opinion of the value, right? When our loans go through underwriting, it's that underwriter's opinion of what that guideline, the interpretation of the guideline. So if I can have something that is already written down with like on like for instance travel nurses, right? I've gone in and I've pulled in information on travel nursing and how to travel or how to qualify for that income, and I've put it on a 4-page Word document that if I get any pushback on it, I'm going to send this to the underwriter and say, look, here's the guideline, here's the URL to go to it. Here's this guideline, this is how you go to it. So before I do the video, I'm already well prepared to get these calls to come in, and then also have this document that end up to an underwriter at any time to challenge any interpretive guidelines.
What I also thought was that I really admired about you is in your personal life, you're really interested in short-term rentals, Airbnbs, and you have this goal of how many doors you want to own. So you did a lot of videos also on like DSCR loans, and you were teaching people what you were doing in the market, and you got a lot of attention on that too, right?
Yes. So I'm big into investing, and a shout out to my buddy Phil Black if you're watching this video, because without him I wouldn't be in this position today. However, yeah, I mean, here's something that I learned a long time ago, Scott, and I don't know who I learned it from. The more you give, the more you're gonna get back, even if you don't intentionally seek it, right? So someone gave me that opportunity when I was 16, Phil Black. Okay. He showed me how to get into real estate and how to successfully invest in real estate and how to do all these things. However, it was my personality that got him to open up that information to me. It's like, always asking those questions like Curious George, always being fearless. Like when I met him, I was at a multi-level marketing event, and I met Phil, and he liked fishing. And too bad my fish tail over here isn't in the video, but you'll see this big giant tuna tail that I have. But he taught me all of that stuff. Goal is to teach everyone the same thing, right? So things that I know, like whether it be short-term rentals, long-term rentals, different types of investment vehicles that I use. Yeah, I mean, anytime I think about it, I'm just going to put on video. And like I said, if I do it, I do it. If it's a terrible video, I'll reshoot it, and I'll put a second video out about the same topic. So I know a lot of people don't watch their own videos, but I always watch my own videos. I critique it. I want my kids to watch it, even though they're 12 and under. I want them to tell me, "Hey, Dad, that was terrible," or "Dad, that was great."
And they're honest with you, I'm sure.
Very honest.
Dad, you're a dork.
Yeah.
So you also had kind of told me that by putting out you were putting out consumer direct, teaching kind of consumers how to use these investor loans to buy short-term rentals and what you were doing. But you also had investors that saw those videos. And didn't you get invited onto a podcast from a big real estate investor that had that topic, or that they had a channel around that as well?
I did. So yeah, it's so a couple years ago when I switched companies, I discovered that there was this whole new universe of loans that was out there that I had no idea of when I was at the bank. I literally had no idea that they did DSCRs. I had no idea that they did bank statement loans and different commercial loans and all these other loans that I'm now in a world of. So every time I go and I meet a new account executive, or I get a new flyer on something, I'm constantly taking those flyers and that information, really digging into the guidelines, learning the guidelines of these products, and then putting it on a video. And yes, it led to a pretty big investor reaching out to me. He had his own YouTube channel, podcast, and everything, and invited me on that call, and just going live just like we're doing now. Short-term rentals and how to get into them. And it really led to, the introduction into his community, and led to, quite a few loans out of that.
So something I want to make sure that we kind of really dial in and people hear here is that you're getting a lot more traction off of the really niche-y stuff, like finding specific challenges and specific issues when you're going consumer direct, traveling nurses, the investor, DSCR loans, things like that. But you're also, because you've started doing all of these videos, now you're so comfortable doing videos, you're using video and doubling down on putting content out there, and that's growing your referral base and, quite frankly, your mortgage team as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for anyone that doesn't do video, like, shame on you, because honestly, the video, just putting yourself out there and telling what you believe in, has really, like, yes, it's led to way more opportunities, and not only opportunities of, hey, I'm calling to verify and check rates, right? Or, yeah, I'm just shopping. Like, literally, these are talking. I mean, literally, they want to deal with me. Like, they already know, like, you're the one that can help me with this specific situation. There's no like taking 30 minutes to sell the deal. The deal's already pre-sold in the video. They call me and they're like, hey, so you said on this video you invest in this certain area, and if you've already invested your personal money in this specific area, I want to work with you. Or, hey, you put this content out about how you believe in your platform. Hey, I want to have a conversation with you, and I want to learn more about what's making you so happy in this rising rate environment, right? So just literally putting it out there, and putting it on video, putting it on different social media platforms has, like, absolutely changed the whole direction of my business. Referral partners, realtors, they all want to work with me now. I wouldn't say all of them, but even ones that I pursued for many years, that always told me no, are wanting to work with me now. Same thing with, like, just the investors, right? I get investors that are like, CEOs at corporations, or the head of surgery at different hospitals and things like that. And that type of clientele would have never fell into my lap if it wasn't for video.
Where do you think they're finding you? Is this stuff you're posting on? I know you're doing stuff on LinkedIn and Facebook for kind of the professional audiences, right? Is that
so LinkedIn, Facebook? Yeah, just LinkedIn and Facebook, mainly. Yeah, LinkedIn and Facebook, a little bit on YouTube. You guys do that for me. But yeah, between those three platforms, that's really all I have time for. I've even started taking these videos and cutting them and making them shorts, to put out there on the Instagrams and the TikToks of the world. But at least from my understanding and talking to people that are influencers in that arena, they're definitely not getting the return on investment of time that I'm getting.
Well, it looks to me like, because I'm just taking a brief spin around the block here, go, searching you and seeing what you got on. Man, you are cranking out a lot of content, brother. I mean, it's like every day there's something coming from you, on these platforms. Kudos for that. I mean, me and Brian did one a day for Brian, still does it, for 15 years. But I'm just curious about the amount of energy that goes into this. So Scott's team is helping with the editing and that type of thing right now, or how much? I guess what I'm going to say is, how much work goes into getting one of these things knocked out, right? Start to finish time. Who does the editing, all that kind of stuff. How do you crank out this much material? It's a lot of stuff. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so Scott's team takes care of it all. Like I said, I just brainstorm every day on content. What do I want to talk about?
Well, we help you with the consumer direct stuff, but you're doing a lot of stuff. You're doing a lot of other video on social that's not direct to consumer as well, though.
Correct, correct. So, I mean, literally every chance and every opportunity that I get, that's a video moment, I'm doing it, right? You know, so this weekend we were at an amusement park and it was Howl-O-Scream, right? And literally behind me, my kids were frightened because, you know, there were these people dressed up in costumes running like fake chainsaws and things like that. So, you know, my kids holding me, and here I am, I'm trying to stop the monsters, and I'm trying to say, hey guys, come over here. Let's take a selfie real quick because I'm going to talk about, hey, these rates are scary right now, but they shouldn't be scary because look at my kid. He's frightened of these rates, but if you're willing to take the jump and buy a home right now, number one, you're going to be able to not be in that crazy seller's market that we were just in. You're going to be able to negotiate, and truly it's marry the house and date the rate. Now you can date the rate because when the rates come down, I'm going to refinance you and save you a couple $100 a month. Why not do that, right? So we took the selfie, we did the video, and it's just like, now there's a lot of things like between meeting you, Scott, you know, learning the things in the Freedom Club, watching the mortgage influencers, going on YouTube and watching other videos, going to AIM Fuse this year and watching this guy on stage talk about like the differentiation and the backgrounds and doing video. I mean, it's really like, I don't know how to explain it other than when I'm doing these videos, it makes me feel really good about it because I'm helping these consumers. Like, there's nothing like helping a consumer that did not think that they had a chance, and they call you, and on the day of closing, they're crying on the phone with you, right? But to answer your question, Frank, the way that I'm doing it is literally I'm writing everything down, and at least with Scott's team, I'm doing 5 to 7 videos in front of the camera every single week. So it's already pre-scheduled. It's just like my workout routine, right? You know, every Tuesday, I'm going to be at the gym at 6:30. Every Thursday, I'm going to be at the gym at 6:30. Every Saturday, I'm going to be at my kid's soccer field coaching soccer at 10 o'clock. So it's just like clockwork. It's just worked into my schedule, and it's non-negotiable. Like today, I had an issue with the charging, right? You know, it's non-negotiable. If my camera was positioned a little differently, you know, in the camera, you know, I had my favorite baseball team, okay, and then I had this hat that I've worn in every single, like, since I've gotten this hat, I've worn this. Oh no, well, there's this hat too. But there is this hat behind me, and this may be a company, but this all talks about I fund loans. Okay. So when companies see that, or when people see this out and they see this hat, they're going to say, oh, that's David Zei's hat, right? They may not even know that this is a fun loan hat, but I literally just, I don't know, man. I just, this is it. You know, this is going to be my call to action all the time. And now I've taken control of the consumers and being able to send it to the realtor referral partners. It's great, man.
It's, you know, it's a really neat story. Yeah, it's cool. You started, you tapped into video back in the day, and it just as you went through that, this is kind of fun, and let it evolve. And you've used it in a very powerful way, and you just do it a lot, right? Consistency. Wouldn't you agree, David? I mean, it comes down to consistency, right? If you did a video once every 3 months, this would not be happening for you, right? Yeah, it's about just falling in. You got. I think you make me feel like you really enjoy doing it, and that makes a big difference too.
Oh, I love it, man. Like, you know, Scott and I talk all the time, and you know, you can just like I feel the excitement when I do video. Like on video day, it's almost like a game day for me, like a football player. You know, I feel like I'm a warrior. You know, I'm going out there, and this is my thing, right? You know, what am I going to wear today? How's my hair going to look? You know, what background do I want today? Do I want the boxing behind me, or do I want the fishtail behind me? Do I want like one of these hats behind me? Like, I want them to know who I am as a person.
Super cool. One of the things that I've really admired about David is he doesn't ask a lot of questions. He's just like, oh, okay, do this. And then he's fearless, and he just goes and he just goes and goes and goes. And he doesn't have a specific expectation, because you weren't always this excited about video, but you stuck with it, and you ground and you ground and you ground, and now you're starting to get your feedback loops are coming, and now every single day you have some sort of engagement as a result of your exposure and you being out there, whether it's video or a social media post or whatever. Like Frank said, you're kind of a content machine right now.
Mhm.
You're out there everywhere doing anything, and anybody looks for you, it's hard to miss you.
Right.
Somebody tries to Google you now, it's like, that's hard to miss
Yeah,
you. You're all over the
impossible.
place.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey guys, I'm going to depart. I got to go. I got a one right behind this, and I got to get a little prepared for it. So, David, great to meet you, man. Congratulations on your
Hey,
success.
same here, man.
Excellent stuff. Glad you're a Freedom Clubber. You know, join us on Breakfast Club if you haven't.
Yes.
All right. Hey, I was hoping you were going to play your harmonica today.
Oh, my jaw harp. Oh, darn it. It's not in my hand. It's not here. Shoot. I usually have it sitting right up here. I would have given you some, but.
All right.
All right, brother.
All
Hey, you
right,
guys have a
thanks for
great
joining
one.
us, Frank.
man.
We'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye. All right. No, we'll kind of wrap this up. You know, the other thing for anybody out there, I mean, we have a really mixed audience. You know, another thing that I was really impressed with you, David, is you spent what, 15 years in retail space, and a few months ago you decided to go over to the broker world, and you know, and you're trying to build your new team under the broker world, and but you're using a lot of video to do it. Tell me a little bit about what that looks like, and how you're bringing on, because really your referral partners and the people that want to join your team, it's super impressive how much opportunity you have, and it's inbound opportunity because you've already put the outbound content out there.
Yeah. So Scott, you know, like when I first met you, I knew that everything that you did was from here. All right.
Yeah.
So that's really how I've kind of like I want my friends and people that I hang out with and family to all do it from here. Okay. So when I joined the broker space, I wanted to do something that was from my heart, right? You know, and listening and having the friends that I have in the industry and just seeing the variation has really, like, you know, helped me kind of like even come up with a new series that I'm getting ready to put out there. Confessions of the Retail Refugee, right? You know, it's all about what was it like in the retail world? What did they tell you? What were the lies? What were the truths? What was the difference? And kind of like I want to lead, you know, loan officers through the journey of navigating the uncertainty, right? Because there was always uncertainty, and change is the hardest thing to do, right? You know, just like when I started video, it took me years to get the traction. Just like when I wanted to leave retail years ago, it took me years to figure it out, because you know, when you talk to everyone that's done it a different way, like, you know, if they're true friends, they're going to tell you what the hard things are, right? To get to that position. And it wasn't until, like, you know, I searched through every single avenue, I looked behind every opportunity, and I finally saw something that would perfectly work for me based on what I like doing, right? Because if you don't like doing it, you don't have the passion in it, right? You know, just like when I was the last 6 to 8 months of retail, I had zero passion. Like I really, there were times that I really just thought, why am I doing this? So now I just want to put that journey out there on video, so other loan officers that were going through or are going through the same thing that I was going through, they can see that the struggle was real, and I want to show them what the truth is. And you know, you could kind of see through the truth and see through the lies, and I don't want to put any lies out there. Like, I just want to show them what it was like, the entire journey from day one, what got me into this, where I came from, what I built to, and then where I am now. And that's ultimately my goal, to be able to educate the consumer, to be able to educate the loan officer, and hopefully build more referral partners. But really, ultimately, what it comes down to, and to end this, is just to change lives. I want to change lives.
I love that. All right. Well, man, first of all, you did a fantastic job. We kept this under 30 minutes. You really you shared a lot. I hope people got as much out of this. I hope we were really able to, get people thinking about this stuff. And, I just love being able to call you a friend. Everything you do is from your heart. I think that the biggest takeaways here that I want everybody to take away is that you are a genuine human being. You're not playing David Zai on video. You are just David Zai, and you turn the video on, and you're consistent. And your consistency gets people, so people get to know you and they get to realize that this is just who you are. And I love your success story. I mean, I feel like you're just getting started. I mean, you're really starting to get a lot of people noticing you and coming back. And, and the other thing is, I want people to know it could take a year. It could take 18 months. Until you really start getting that traction and getting that groove and stop caring about what you sound like and what what you're doing, and the ideas start flowing. So David, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If anybody wants to reach out to David, Google him. You can't miss him. And he's a good guy. So if you have, if you have questions, I'm sure he's willing to share with you and talk to you a little bit more about what he's doing. But David, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for being a mortgage influencer and having such a great heart, and really just being willing to share all this just to help everybody. So thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
No, thank you, Scott. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the invite.
All right, guys, we will see you next week.
All right, bye.